And so let's get into the meat. Let's get into the meat of our program tonight with my co-host Jerome Chavez.
Hello.
And sitting on my immediate right is Belinda Rollins for the New Mexico Media Literacy Project, and as I said earlier, Vince Eirene from Blast Furnace Radio, who recently returned from Iraq and Baghdad, right?
Yeah, no, we're also in Fallujah.
In Fallujah?
Yes, hello, New Mexico.
Wow. Okay, well, this is part of a panel of shows that for at least the next couple of months, kind of figuring out where we're at as a nation, as a people. In Spanish it's called desastre. In English it's called disaster. And we're trying to figure out where we're at, assess where we're at, and where we want to go and how we're going to get there. Talking strategies and consciousness raising, basically. We're trying to create a kind of a local version of Democracy Now! By the way, if you want to listen to Democracy Now!, it's 4 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on KUNM Radio.
And also it's on 5 p.m. on channel 9415, Free Speech TV, if you get satellite.
But it's on in the morning, too.
Yeah.
At 9 a.m.?
And it's on channel 27 as well.
Yeah, channel 27 at 9 a.m., right?
Yeah, it's many places, so you check it out on the web, too.
Blast Furnace Radio at 9 a.m.
Really?
That would be Eastern
I want
time.
her all over the place, man.
Yeah.
People have come to me and criticized the fact that I present, one side. And I say, well, the other side has got it all. So the one side we got, I'm going to blast away, we're going to blast away at, right?
I thought the other side had tofurkey.
Well, I don't even know how to come back on that one. So we've got a live call-in show. Feel free to call in at any time, 346-1633. I'm Alan Cooper, Jerome Chavez, Vince, and Belinda. Let's get with it. Go ahead.
So what brought you to Iraq?
Well, I just got really tired of what it's like being an activist. You spend most of your time trying to keep alive and financially and emotionally, and you get really tired of the endless intramural infighting that goes on. So I decided that I would meet the people, and got up one morning, decided to have a journalistic delegation to Baghdad. And that's the beauty of the internet. That's the beauty of making something out of nothing, is that there was only this little email that asked people if they wanted to be part of the journalistic delegation to Baghdad. There was no supporting group, there was no money, there was absolutely nothing. And after a year of fund losers and fundraisers and gathering support together, we had Occupation Watch within Baghdad, some activists within Baghdad, get us a driver, showing us around the hospitals and schools, and had a translator. We had Global Exchange supporting us out of San Francisco. Free Speech TV came, and people who are journalists and authors and independent journalists. And so it really showed you the beauty of anybody could go out and get a lot of money and start a project, but this was literally on the shoestring. And after a year worth of fundraising, we ended up in Baghdad for the first anniversary, March 20th, of the beginning of the war. And we were actually the so-called war, and we were actually there when Fallujah blew up, when they shredded Al-Assad's paper. That was the flashpoint for what we're experiencing today.
About that in specific?
Well, we were there, and there was these newspapers everywhere of Al-Assad's, and he declared himself the Ayatollah. Nobody liked him. Nobody liked his ideas. Nobody liked his newspaper. He was too young to be an Ayatollah. But when the CPA, when the provisional government attacked him and arrested his deputy, the editor of his newspaper, shredded his newspaper, that united the Arab world and the Arabs within the
act of shutting down the newspaper.
Yes.
When you say shredded, are you talking about they destroyed the presses?
Yes, they destroyed the paper and arrested the editor. That united the Arab world. So people who didn't like him, just like people who get a rock song banned and then everybody wants to buy it, people united around that because they said, how is the U.S. installing democracy by shutting down the newspaper? After that, when we were there that week, 10 cities blew up for the first time. and the insurgents lashed out because of this. And then, of course, he's become the center of the resistance.
Before that, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, there was a killing of like 14 or 18 children who had a demonstration in Fallujah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was a school. I mean, I don't know, it was a grade school, middle school, whatever, and they had a demonstration. The Marines they just shot them in cold blood. Just shot down, 14 people? Children?
Yes. And so when we were there in Iraq, it really looked like things were getting better. And the people
What do you mean by that?
Well, the people thought that the Americans were going to leave. They thought that, now that appliances are coming in, cars are coming in, they're starting to rebuild things like the building that enabled Iraq to have phone calls, to have phones. There's no phones in Iraq right now. And it was when that happened with Fallujah, when we took, the U.S. took revenge for the Marines who were killed, for the charred bodies. That's